I was gonna talk about track changes first. I was actually gonna text you yesterday and be like, dude, what are we thinking? So I wanna definitely hear your opinion, but I didn't mind it too bad when it came to the section that's more on the top of the valley. So like everything after that big table that we saw, going underneath the or like that bridge section, the whoop, stuff like that. I thought all of that looked really good. I almost like the section with the whoops a little bit better this way as opposed to the that right, then left, then a little bit of a sweeping, and then into the rollers. And it's like, okay, that's a little bit long in the tooth. But the way that they're able to jump into the rollers, I thought added another element of
Mm.
spectator wow, and also kind of challenge the guys a little bit, but it also flowed better, in my opinion, if I'm being honest. The only thing I wish I saw, AJ, I missed the jumps, man. I missed the big Godzilla jump going like, back towards the back of the track, and then the one that, you hit that right hander and boop, you're up in the air forever again and
Yeah.
down the
So
hill.
both of those were gone.
Yeah, I kind of miss them. Now, I'm saying that having like I hit those things, but I almost miss seeing those because it added such a wow factor. And this is one track out of all of the tracks I think that I've probably ever seen like in any pro circuit throughout the years, on this pro motocross circuit that reminds me of like an MX versus ATV track. This one, I'm like, man, these jumps are massive. The way that it flows, it almost plays like a video game track. And the other one that I would probably say is um, Troy, Ohio, that one that they got rid of like in the early 2000s.
Oh, where there's just creative different jumps everywhere. Yeah.
Yes,
So
that one. Those are the only two I'd say. But yeah,
I'm curious
overall,
to
kind of cool.
know. I'm curious to know who builds that track because
Mm,
the where they put some of the rollers is really creative. Now, either they just this could go one of two ways. Because sometimes people build tracks and have no idea what some riders might actually be able to jump.
mhm,
And then it ends up being fun because you can connect like jumping this roller all the way to this tabletop, or this tabletop all the way to this roller, or this
mhm.
roller all the way to this other roller.
Yeah.
Or somebody's being really strategic about where they're putting that stuff. Because
Mm,
by the time you watch Jet out there in that last moto, oh my God, there was so much stuff that he was able to jump like around corners and jumping all the way over from braking bumps over the rollers, from rollers over the braking bumps.
mhm.
It looked sick.
Yeah.
It looked like a track that I would have loved because another thing, and we could talk a little bit about this, it was a track where you didn't have to put your foot out in any corners
Yes.
because
Yep.
the ruts were so deep. There was only really one turn. It was the one where the Godzilla jump used to be. And if you took the far inside because you
Yeah.
needed that much lean angle in that
Mhm,
tight little corner,
mhm.
that was when they were sitting a little earlier and you could put your foot out. Every other corner, you didn't need to put your foot out. And
Yeah.
those guys were doing a pretty good job of it.
Exactly, and, you bring up a good point. I can't think of any corners that are, like, kinda slow, you know what I mean? Where a lot of people, especially when we saw it class, like, if like, the slower the speed of the corner or, the smaller the radius, the more you're likely to put your foot out. There weren't really many slow turns. I think that's probably the only slow one, like you mentioned, like, where that Godzilla jump used to be, where they were
Yep.
going somewhat slow, but even then, the middle rut and, all the way towards the outside, you can rail those things. I like, they really
Yep.
there's no slow corners. Like, at apex speed comparatively, that track versus the other ones, guarantee you're 2, 3 miles an hour faster than any other,
And you had
any
good
other
slot
track.
car ruts all the way
Yes.
through. So what
Yes.
it
Yeah.
did is
Yep.
like for anybody watching that, if you applied our Moto Academy strategy of keep the feet on and stand until you're past the halfway point, super easy to remember that. Stand until you're past the halfway mark and then don't even bother putting your feet out. Now go back and watch Ironman and watch the top guys and how they were doing that. I mean, when you watch Sexton and Jet, when you watched, who was really, really good at it in 250s actually was the Harup. Is that how you say it?
Oh, yeah, Mikal. Yeah,
He's super good at leaving
he's
his feet
good.
on. So shout out to him. He looks great. His technique's looking really good.
Mhm.
And it's just easier. It's easier, it's more consistent, it's more safe. And what you can't tell me if that's the way Jet is attacking the track, then you can't tell me that it's not the fastest option also.
Mm.
But it being the fastest option is usually the least of my concern. I want it to be safe and consistent and fun. Um,
Mm.
And then it just so happens to also be the fastest way around. It was just making me happy as I was watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like selfishly, the little part of my ego that's a part of watching that is like, for all the people I've been saying feet on and stand through the corners
Mhm.
for a long time now. And I
Mhm.
probably wasn't the first person to say it, although sort of. Um, Everybody thought I was crazy. Most people still think it is a stupid thing to say. And yeah, watching a track like that, part of me wants to say I told you so.
Yeah, and honestly, that argument, like, yeah, I'm not perfect with the feet all the time. Did I make, especially people that see me right out here, did I make so many mistakes? It's not even funny. But there are instances where, like, just naturally you want to do that, especially if like the corner's just super choppy or bumpy, or you just want to put a little bit of extra weight towards the outside to get some more bite. Naturally, that's just kind of like what you end up doing anyway. You know what I mean? Like you just feel that's better, especially when you start practicing it more. Um, yeah, and when you threw in that safety factor, like it's safer, I'm like, yep, I want to keep my Achilles intact, dude. I just got a brand new one, so I don't want to. I don't want to get hurt. I'm doing feet on the pegs, but no, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, this track was really allowed you to do that a lot more. That's an absolute good point.
so what was cool is that the technical guys kind of did rise to the top. So
Mhm.
another example of that would be Cody Schock. I consider Cody
Mm,
Schock to be a really highly technical rider, good
yeah.
technique,
Yep.
and yeah, right up front.
Mm,
Able to stand deeper through the corners, tight footwork so his feet aren't getting ripped off the pegs. If you
mhm,
had old school style sitting early on that track, you were gonna have a rough time. The ruts
yeah.
are just too deep.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and I don't. I'd love to go back a little bit and maybe study some older footage from like the early 2000s. I just don't think the ruts. I don't think the tracks really formed in that way quite as much. Is that true?
Uh,
There must have been deep ruts all the way through. Like, what were
no,
they doing
no.
through them? Were their
They're
feet just getting snagged everywhere?
definitely at this particular track or just anywhere.
Just anywhere. Like, I'd
Oh
love to
no,
go
for
back and
sure,
watch
for
some old,
sure.
old footage of deep rutted tracks and just see what were those guys doing and how was it working. Because
Um,
watching the stand up all the way through, it's like,
mhm.
it's so simple. How were they not doing that all along? If you guys enjoyed that podcast clip, you can listen to full episodes on Apple Music and Spotify. And make sure if you haven't already, join our community inside of the Moto Academy app. Go to themotoacademy.com today. I'll see you guys inside the community.